you guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Cheney and I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, ages 12, 4, and 1. And today I'm just going to do a quick flip through of the discontinued Good and Beautiful math. Now, I said this in my other video, I'll say this in this one. I really grappled on whether or not to even make these videos, being that this is the discontinued version of the math. But it was heavy on my heart to make them. Something told me that someone out there will need this video someday, so I'm gonna make it. And if you don't need it, then, you know, the worst that can happen is you don't watch it. The best that can happen is I can really help someone who is looking for information on these higher levels of the Good and the Beautiful discontinued version of math, and they don't have them. I bought all of this secondhand. I went through this, I'll go through this more in depth in my level 3 video, so if you want to hear kind of the backstory about how I ended up making the choice to use the discontinued version of math, go to that video and watch that. But the Cliff Notes version is I have used the Good and the Beautiful's math since the K primer. I used level K, level 1. Right now we're working through level 2. And I saw the new math. I think the new math is really great. But I ultimately decided for us and my family that the discontinued version is the version that we were going to stick with as high as we can go. So I set out on a quest to find the discontinued version. I had to buy all of the pieces separately off of the Facebook Marketplace. It was a journey, but I got them all. And I also I bought 2 of these. I always buy 2 of the boxes. The only one I didn't buy 2 of was the level K, and that was the one that taught me that I need 2 boxes of these, because if a tiny piece gets lost, you know, it's chaos. So maybe that's one of the reasons why they wanted to change the math box. I would still end up buying 2 if I used the new version. So yeah. So this is not the same math box that I do in the level 3. We'll see if this has all of the same pieces in it that the level 3 box did. I just decided to use the 2 different boxes that I found. Like I said, I bought all this secondhand, so we'll see if the other one was missing any pieces. So, to start, I'm going to move this a little bit out the way. And each one comes in these 2 books, part 1 and part 2. And I don't think there's really a rhyme or reason as to why there's a part 1 and part 2, except for the fact that it was just so thick they had to put it in 2 books. Also, the old version comes in comb binding. The new version is lay flat binding. And that's a plus for the new version, because this comb binding comes apart. And it falls apart. So just know that. I know a lot of people used to actually take it and have this rebound and spiral bound just because of the fact that the comb binding was so cheap. But that's part of the price, right? Like, the Good and the Beautiful is super cheap. It is a great quality, but you know, you just have to live with the comb binding or have it spiral bound yourself. And again, this discontinued version of math is going to start every day with this daily dose. I think the new version has a daily dose too, but it's not, I think that it's like more integrated into the lesson. So, but it has these stories, right? And art studies and geography. And there's this through story all the way through. So here's an example of a daily dose. You've got some really long addition and some perimeter, right? So this is the level that gets independent. So this portion of the lesson is intended to be completed independently by the child, right? It directs them to read the story about fetching water, and then, you know, the whole lesson goes through liters of water, right? It's just a beautiful, so this section is intended to be completed with the parent. I believe this is the highest level of math that was released in the old version, and instead of giving us higher versions, they just discontinued the whole thing. So yeah, so this is the only level of the older levels that includes sections that are intended to be done independently by the child as far as like reading through the lesson. I don't know if we'll do that. Like, my son is a little bit younger than the intended audience for this is, so, you know, I will probably still be sitting with him. Rock and roll. See, it really brings math to life. It makes it beautiful. My son absolutely loves math, and we have used this with him throughout all of math. And his perspective of math, his attitude towards math is so much different than my 12-year-olds who learned math in a very different way. He learned, through more traditional mastery programs. And so just with how different of a perspective my younger son has on math, I didn't want to upset that by not continuing to do what was working really well for us. It's also very little prep work on my part. I know a lot of people made the claim that it was too much going on. For me personally, it's all kind of there for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm maybe the way that I flow in my homeschool is a little better, because every homeschool is different, right? But for us, this worked out really well. So much so that I'm kind of sad that level K is going to be really hard to find, or this math is going to be really hard to find for my daughter when she gets older. So for her, maybe we'll do the new math, but yeah, so use mental math to study how many tickets were sold at the museum each day, right? That's cute. This is another photo study. Like, it includes picture study in here. Selling beads. I would, I will die on the hill that this is living math. So look, like this is algebra right here. These are algebra concepts taught through shapes, and they start this in level 2. So the spiral build of this math is just, it's so great. Oh no, everything has been turned upside down. Get everything back to normal by solving for the unknown factors. So again, this is algebra, or at least pre-algebra concepts being introduced so early on. And they get it. My 4-year-old understands, like, oh, okay, I gotta figure out what that is. And it's super fun. They also include these Mathematician Studies. This starts in level 2. Safari, subtraction, here's another picture study. This is including a lot of like mammal science, I'm noticing. Making bead jewelry. So you could, you could include that with an activity of making actual bead jewelry. Bead bundles. So this is like if you're running a business, how are you gonna come up with that? Or how are you gonna, get enough supply for your demand? Here's another picture study. I just find this to be the most beautiful curriculum ever. Here, kind of 10 blocks. Grocery conversions. Here's some angle work. And look, see, it's showing the angles in the food at the picnic. The wedge of cheese, and a sandwich, and a napkin. This is using angles to measure in space. I love it. Geometric figures. Building a cabin deck. Just very beautiful. That's part 1. Part 2 is pretty much the same thing. Like I said, they could be one book if they wanted it to be. It's just that they were so big, I think that they had to split it into 2 parts. Or if you really want to drag this out, and drag out this 4-part series to make it, or 5, I guess if you include K, it's a 5-part series, to make it, last 8 years, through 8th grade, which it could. I mean, all of this is under level math. Or under pre-algebra level math, but it includes pre-algebra concepts. So, you could go straight from this into a pre-algebra course, I would think. A road trip, elapsed time. Shopping for school supplies. find the value of each berry. So again, we're doing algebra. Yeah, so you could do, I know people who did, each part of book would be like 1 year, right? I blow through them a little bit quicker than that. I find these to be really short lessons, and my son typically wants to do more than one in a day. So we get through these pretty quickly. Yeah, here's a job chart, length and division. This is another mathematician study. Long division, remainders. Yeah, so that's the book. And then I'm going to give you just a brief overview of what is in the activity book. This is for 3 and 4. And again, I used a different, I purchased 2 of these. I used the other one that I purchased in the old one, so we'll see if all the same things are in here. Okay, so this one looks like it's been put together a little more. So again, you're going to have some dice and some game pieces. These are different kinds of dice as well. You're going to have these pretty thick, I think these are wooden. I'm pretty sure these are wooden pieces of, like, they're like puzzle pieces for logic puzzles that are going to be in here. And then, as you can see, in the other one, these weren't put together yet. This one has already been put together, so I think this math was used a little more. And then you're going to get game number cards. These just have numbers on them, and they're pretty tiny. I don't know if you can see. These don't bode well in our house. They tend to get lost immediately. So this is the activity book that includes all of the instructions for each game. And I will show you what my, yeah, so this one's actually taken apart, so I'll kind of flip through all the boards. But this is the instruction for all the games that are in here, and then, which it's got a lot of games. This is my favorite part. This is exercise cards for multiplication and division practice. So this would be great for PE and math together. I love it. I'm excited. I'm probably going to start using it now, because I was so excited when I saw that. And then, oh, it looks like this one's missing it is. So, you'll have to go to my level 3 to find it, but in my level 3 there was this beautiful math notebook that is included in this activity book, and it's my favorite part of the whole activity pack, so I'm glad I bought 2, because one of these was missing one. Yeah, so go check out level 3 if you want to see that absolutely beautiful math notebook. But yeah, so these are like little puzzles, and you give the child one of each of these, and they have to figure out how to make it, figure out how to make it fit with these pieces, right? And then oh, look at that. A map. I'm sure that has a point. Oh yeah. Yeah. So these are basically kind of like the pattern blocks from level K, or the tangram pieces from 1 and 2. These are just an extension of that logic side of your brain. Look at that. How beautiful is that? So we're just continuing on with these puzzles. I think these are like the best feature of the Good and the Beautiful's math, are these little puzzle pieces. These are like timeless, you guys. My son still does these. They're part of our game night as a family, is doing these puzzles. So, you know, even before we get there, I will still pull out the pattern block puzzles, and we'll do those as a family. And then these are the board games. So they give you each of the board game in here. So if you come across one of these maths and the price is too hard to beat, oh, butterflies. Sorry, I'm gonna have to look up how to play that, because that would go great with our insect study. Crack the ice. ate like, oh, there's spiders. See, you guys? I can't deal. Like, this would be great for like a water unit, a medieval battle. So if you go into medieval times, it'd be great for that. I really find these activity books are timeless. They're applicable in so many more places than just using with this math curriculum. And that's why I was so disappointed that they discontinued them, because I think people weren't applying them to their fullest potential, if that makes sense. Like, this is geography, you guys. You don't need to be doing this math to use this box in all of your topics. The 7 wonders of the world, so this would be great for ancient study, which we are doing currently. So square dance, turtle races, oh my gosh, look at that. A woodland walk, so that'd be great for like a mammal study. And a wheel of multiplication. So that is everything included in this activity box. I'm going to put all that back in here now. Yeah, and as you can see what they look like when they come brand new in my level 3 video, but these are already kind of broken apart and put in here. So yeah, if you have any questions about the discontinued version of math, leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. Also, if you have any questions about how I implement these math boxes or this math curriculum outside of its intended use, how we get longevity out of them, because like I said, we still use level K and we're working through level 2. So if you have any questions about anything like that, let me know in the comments down below and I'll be sure to answer them. And thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye!